The solution of an inequality is the set of all numbers that make the inequality true. The properties you use for solving inequalities are similar to the properties you use for solving equations. However, when you multiply or divide each side of an inequality by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality symbol. Take note, properties, the properties of inequalities. Let A, B, and C represent real numbers. First, the transitive property of inequality. The property says if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, then A is greater than C. For example, 5 is greater than 3 and 3 is greater than 1, so by the transitive property of inequality, 5 is greater than 1. The addition property of inequality. If A is greater than B, then A plus C is greater than B plus C. An example, 4 is greater than 2, so 4 plus 1 is greater than 2 plus 1. The subtraction property of inequality. If A is greater than B, then A minus C is greater than B minus C. For example, 7 is greater than 4, so 7 minus 3 is greater than 4 minus 3. The multiplication property of inequality. If A is greater than B and C is greater than 0, then A times C is greater than B times C. And if A is greater than B and C is less than 0, then A times C is less than B times C. Some examples. On the right, 6 is greater than 5 and 3 is greater than 0, so 6 times 3 is greater than 5 times 3. 3 is greater than 2 and negative 4 is less than 0, so 3 times negative 4 is less than 2 times negative 4. And finally, the division property of inequality. It states if A is greater than B and C is greater than 0, then A divided by C is greater than B divided by C. Also, if A is greater than B and C is less than 0, then A divided by C is less than B divided by C. Examples, 9 is greater than 3 and 3 is greater than 0, so 9/3 is greater than 3/3. 12 is greater than 6 and negative 6 is less than 0, so 12 divided by negative 6 is less than 6 divided by negative 6. Just as you use properties of equality to solve equations, you can use properties of inequality to solve inequalities. Problem 2. Solving and graphing an inequality. What is the solution of negative 2 times the quantity 2x minus 5 plus 1 is greater than or equal to 4? Graph the solution. Well, rewriting the inequality, and then using the distributive property to distribute the negative 3 to the two terms inside parentheses, we arrive at negative 6x plus 15 plus 1 is greater than or equal to 4. Then we work to simplify on the left-hand side, combining like terms 15 and 1. Negative 6x plus 16 is greater than or equal to 4. Then we use the subtraction property of inequality to subtract 16 from each side. Negative 6x is greater than or equal to negative 12. And finally, we'll divide each side by negative 6. Remember using inverse operations and these properties of inequality. Divide each side by negative 6, and don't forget to reverse the inequality symbol. Negative 6x divided by negative 6 is x. Reverse the inequality symbol, less than or equal to, and negative 12 divided by negative 6, positive 2. We were also asked to graph, so we need to graph x is less than or equal to 2. First, we'll plot our boundary point 2, and we need to consider whether that should be an open or a closed circle. Since 2 is part of our solution set, we want to include 2 in the graph, so it will be a closed circle. Then x is less than or equal to 2 indicates values to the left of 2 on the number line, so our arrow points to the left. Your turn. What is the solution of negative 2 times the quantity x plus 9 plus 5 is greater than or equal to 3? Graph the solution.